online, virtual, you've got to be there. Oh my goodness, so much pressure. When you used to have to network in person, we're actually meeting each other. Now you've got to do it through a computer. Can we do it? Can you do that for your business? Yes, you can. And you can do it with confidence. And we are going to be talking with Tiffany Kellogg, who is the expert at online networking in order to build your business. But you know what? Some tips in how to do it just socially so you don't feel awkward and shy. And she's going to teach us all about that right after this. The strongest prison bars are in your head. Leaders and teams, it's time for a jailbreak. Tiffany Kellogg, welcome to Trish TV, the Shift and Lift Mindset Show, and you're going to shift and lift us today. Oh, it's so good to have you here. Tell us a bit about yourself.
So I'm Tiffany Kellogg in Tampa, Florida in the United States, and I discovered a networking a couple of years after I had started my first business. I spent the first couple of years cold calling, and I'm pretty good at it, and I hate doing it. And so when I got a call out of the blue, somebody found me in the phone book and said, "Hey, will you come networking?" I'm like, I didn't know anything about it. And I've got a business degree with marketing focus, but I didn't know anything about networking and growing your business by referral. And so I walked into this room, and it was like the skies had parted, the sun was coming down, it was sunny. It was like, oh my gosh, there's people here that could be referring me. This could be so much better than cold calling. And so I started networking. I was doing my thing, and I found that the experts give you some tips on, like, here's all these things you want to do in your networking. And while they're not bad or wrong, there's a better way to do networking. And so over the past 15, 16 years, I've been really working hard on finding, what is the best way to do the networking to build the relationships, which can lead to referrals.
Wow, fantastic. So you've been learning about networking. You've been teaching other people how to network, and not just network, because as you say, it is about referrals, because, companies spend a lot of money sending their staff to networking events. And quite often, because it is awkward, there are strangers there. It's like your mother saying, go play with the other kids, and they'd rather just talk to each other. And some of these are very expensive tickets. And you're not just there to listen to the speaker and get notes. You're there to network and build business for the company you work for or your own. So that was hard enough. But tell us, what's the difference between networking we know what the difference is, it's online, but what feels different from networking in person to networking online? And you might need to tell us exactly what networking online is for those people who haven't yet been brave enough to venture in.
So to me, there's really not much of a difference between networking online and offline. It's definitely more of a mental thing, though there are differences. When I think about networking, if we're going to a conference and we're hearing the big speakers, before and after, we get the opportunity to spend time networking in the hallways or attending coffees or the happy hours, and we get to mix and mingle with our networking. And that's one thing I think that is missing from the online networking, is you don't really have that opportunity to mix and mingle. Though I'll share, I'm an introvert, hardcore. And so the idea of the mix and mingle, I'm like, no, give me structure.
I never would have picked it.
Okay. Yeah, I fake it really, really well.
Okay.
But so I think that's one of the things that's different. I think a lot of the other things can be the same if you approach it the same. Too often, I think people think about networking, whether that's online or offline, as let me go and see how many people want to buy from me. I want to sell. But when you ask the people that attend networking events, hey, are you here to buy stuff? They're like, no, why would I do that? I'm here to sell stuff. Well, if you're there to sell, but nobody's there to buy, we call that the networking disconnect. Like, That's not the intention. And so for me, when I'm networking, the goal is to book a meeting from a meeting. And so I'm not going looking for your credit card or your check. I'm going for with the phone, because it's got the calendar, to schedule the meeting with the right people.
That's so good. And doesn't that take the pressure off? You know, that you meet someone and say, hey, I'd love to get to know you further and see whether there is anything that might be of value to one another. How about we do coffee?
Yeah.
And you do that. And that way it's not like you don't have to go back to work and have a list of all the notches that you got on your belt. It's about building relationship, as you've said. And online is not a lot different, is it? That same attitude.
No. I think, most of the online networking is done in a couple of different ways. Some groups will do online networking and it's like, okay, everybody, you get your 30 or 60 seconds to give your spill. Other online networking, it's like, okay, you're going to go into breakout rooms, whether it's one-on-one or with a number of 3, 4, 5 people. And then again, everybody gets their spiel. So I think with the online networking, it is more about the presentation that you're giving, whether, again, it's 15, 30, 60 seconds versus when you do the mix and mingle. When you're in person, it's more of a conversation. So I think it's really important. And this is one of the ways to really help create that confidence when you're going to an online networking event, is being prepared with what you want to share at the event. You kind of got your conversation, and there's usually 3 different things I recommend you share.
3 different things that they recommend you share.
Okay. So you can pick which one. If you've got 3 or 5 minutes, you might be able to get all of them in. But if I'm going to do a online networking event, I either want to come prepared with, my why, what's my story. And this is not necessarily how you got into the business. It's more of what drives you, what lights you up, what inspires you. And this can be shared in 30 seconds and 3 minutes, depending on how verbose you are. Details are a great thing. So that's the first thing you can share. The second option would be, what are the benefits of your product or service? I don't know why they call it features and benefits, because it should be benefits and features. And really, people don't care about the features half the time. They're interested in what's the benefits of what you have.
Yeah.
I mean, really, features are boring.
That's great, because people are interested in what it will do for them, which draws me to the concept of, you've said, be aware of how much time you have for your slot. When you've been given 30 seconds, 60 seconds, please respect the time. And then if you're in, oh my goodness, and if you're in a breakout room where you get to chat and get to know other people, one of the frustrating experiences I've had is that people start and they just dominate the conversation, and it's all about them, and it's just drowning. So what would you say to that, and in both advice to people who may find themselves doing it or have no idea, but also how to tactfully perhaps curtail it? Are there strategies for that?
Yeah, so I'm a little, the strategies I'll give you now were probably not what I did 15 years ago, because 15 years ago, I'm like, I have no clue. If I'm in a breakout room, let's say we've got 5 minutes, you're supposed to have half, I'm supposed to have half. The host or hostess is nice enough to come through and say, switch. If they ignore that, or they're not cognizant of the time and they want to talk the whole time, you know what? Let them. What they're telling me is they have no desire to know anything about me, and I just don't have to worry about following up with them after the event.
Oh, look, now hold on. I have not heard that before, Tiffany, and that's gold. That's gold, because I've sat in rooms where I'm not stressing to have my turn. I'm just conscious that this person is hogging all the time, and I'm thinking, how do I I may sometimes gently say, wow, that's great, Graham. I'm looking forward to hearing, we've got so much time for Leanne as well, like if there's more people. Yeah. What's a tactful way to say that?
If there's 3 or 4 or 5 people in the group, It's a little bit different because I do want to respect the other folks. I have no problem pulling up. This is my clock right now, but I have no problem saying I've got a timer going right now, and I want to make sure they said we were going to have 10 minutes. Everybody's going to get. I'm setting it for 1:50, so everybody we make sure gets their time. Just to share. I don't want to be the one that would go over, so that just makes it easy and it's equitable for us.
So it would be smart and prepared to actually, when you enter the room at the start, to say, okay, so we've got 10 minutes. Who wants to be the timekeeper? I've got a timer. And you can do that. That's great, because that's being prepared, and you can do that whether it's your Zoom or someone else's.
Correct.
I really like that. But I do love what you said about letting, if it's just the two of you, let the other person just keep on going, because they're not interested in you anyway. So if you were going to network with them afterwards, the same thing would probably happen.
Yeah, see, I'm never gonna, because if they're like, hey, can we get together afterwards? I'm like, sure, email. Okay, so if you meet somebody at a networking event, sorry, this kind of answers the question and not. Okay. You meet somebody at a networking event and they're like, they want to meet with you, and you're like, oh, what I typically will do is say, that's awesome, do me a favor, email me over, let me know what it is that we're looking to get together for, and we can set up the appointment. And 9 times out of 10, they're not going to follow up with like, here's what we want to talk about. Then if they come to me and they're like, they want to sell, I'm like, okay, 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's really good. I really like that you said that, the part about email me and let me know what it is you want to talk about, because I'm sure, like people watching, I get LinkedIn requests, and then I get, I hate it when someone says, so tell me about yourself. And I think, did you not bother looking at my profile? Or they'll say, hey, can we get together, to see what might work out between us? And I'm thinking, how do I answer that on LinkedIn, Tiffany? How do I tact? Because I'm a bit of look, I'm getting better at not being a people pleaser, but I don't want to hurt people's feelings and come off as rude.
Yeah.
But I don't want to spend half an hour on Zoom when I don't know what it's for, and I don't want to. That's one of the good things about online. I don't have to go and meet someone in person for coffee. If I just, and I'm less likely to do so even after the pandemic, because I don't want to drive somewhere. A half-hour meeting is going to take half a day for me, because you've got to get organized, drive, go, spend. So how do we tactfully rebuff someone on LinkedIn that we haven't met in person?
So if somebody sent me a LinkedIn invitation, hey, Tiffany, thanks for the connection, like assuming I've already said yes, I would love to get together and grab a cup of coffee with you, to whatever. I'd be like, thank you so much. I'm curious why you feel like, or what you feel would be really great for us to get together. I'm dying to know why you're excited to talk to me.
That's really good.
And maybe not that exact languaging. I might not say dying to know, but I'm just curious. I love. Okay, so starting over again, I might say, oh, I love meeting new people. Awesome. I would, what do you think is going to be the synergy that we're able to create between us? I'm looking forward to hearing back from you. Or the other thing that I do sometimes is when people are like, oh, I would love to get to know more about what you do. I say, here's the next event that I have, whether it's a program or a referral challenge, whatever it may be that I have coming up. I say, here's the next thing that's coming up. You want to come, check me out, learn more about what I do, and then we can schedule some one-on-one time.
That's great. You can buy a ticket.
I usually offer free events if it's the first time. And so I am a little flippant about this, but I learned that I can easily fill up my week giving away those 30-minute slots on Zoom, or the hour and a half that it takes for the 30 minutes coffee in person. And so I'm usually pretty particular about, am I going to take the time to meet with this person? And it's not that I mind. Like, I'm happy to do it. I just want to make sure that we're getting together for more than you selling to me.
That's really important. We need to, so if you're taking notes, you need to be able to say, why are we going to be meeting? And say it in a nice way, but what is it that you want to achieve, so that there's a mutual beneficial outcome. So that's really, really, really helpful. We are talking to Tiffany Kellogg about networking online with confidence. So it's not something that needs to be scary. It's usually the unknown that's scary. If you're enjoying this, give it a like, share it, subscribe would be great. And also, Tiffany has her own YouTube channel where there are more things for you to more tips, more lessons, and she has a Facebook group about networking, which we will visit. Actually, let's have a look now while we're talking about it. So I'm going to, first of all, we're going to visit your website. Let's go with this one. Here we go. TiffanyKellogg.com. Now, take notice of the spelling of Tiffany's name. I'm going to run it across the bottom of the screen as well. Tiffany with an IE and only one G in Kellogg. We are not talking about cornflakes. We are talking about Tiffany, which is great. So she's about helping you. Well, why do we network? It says it right here. It helps you make more money in less time by creating referrals for life. You don't have to refer everybody you meet. And some networking groups are all about referrals, which is terrific. But you also want to make sure that they're worth referring. What do we do, Tiffany, when someone says to us, here's a good question for you, when someone asks you for a referral and you go, oh, sure, but you would not refer them in a conflict.
So I think it depends on the relationship. If it's somebody, I remember I was doing a one-to-one, somebody kind of slipped in and I was doing the Zoom call to have a conversation, the very first meeting. And she's like, okay, so what do I have to do to be your preferred website designer? And I'm like, I had already decided she's not going to be in my realm. And so I'm like, well, do me a favor. Tell me what sets you apart. What makes you the best? And I listened to her ramble for 10 minutes without actually giving me an answer. And I think she kind of like deselected herself away from the conversation. So that was an interesting way to deal with it. So you could begin to ask questions, not necessarily saying, yes, I'll refer you, but getting some more information to put you in that situation. If it's somebody that I know decently well and they're like, hey, Tiffany, can I have these referrals? I may have a candid talk of, hey, Susie, I really enjoy working with you. However, you're constantly late and that makes you really hard to refer for me. So maybe we can figure out a way to make sure you're on time if that might be the situation. So if I've got that level of credibility with a person, I may be open and honest on why I'm not willing to refer. Now, let's say, and this could be for some of you out there, sometimes we have like 17 of one profession that are in our referral network and we want to refer them all, but we can't. And so one of the things that we talk about in the Ignite Your Business program, which is one of the programs I facilitate, is there's 16 different relationship builders. So things to help motivate your network. So you may not feel comfortable referring them. Perhaps though, you might feel comfortable inviting them to attend a networking event with you. Or, having them, let's do a Facebook Live together. You could say, hey, how about I put you in front of some of the right people if you want to hang out at my booth at the golf tournament that I'm sponsoring. That was a conversation I had with one of my clients today. So if you're wanting to keep the relationship, the referrals, whether you're not there with the trust yet, or you're not sure that you want to refer them, maybe there's other things that you can do to help support them.
That's great. That's really kind. I like that because you're helping them, and you're So I just got to look through my thing here. You're helping them, but you're also you're not feeling obliged to voice them onto someone that they may not be ready for. So getting back to me,
I think when it comes to referrals, it has to be win-win-win. So it has to be a win for the person giving, the person receiving, and the prospect.
Fabulous. I love that. I love your heart for that. So this is your website, helping people make more money in less time by creating referrals for life. Now, this is where people can go and find some events as well. You are a professional speaker and you're an author. We will come back to that because I promised people I would show them your Facebook page. I don't want to confuse everybody. I want to make sure that they get you right where in the best way. So, more money, more time, more fun through more referrals with Tiffany Kellogg. So, if they put your name in Facebook, your page will come up.
I'm pretty much the fun thing about having a weirdly spelled name is that I am easy to find. So I'm pretty much at Tiffany Kellogg, Facebook, LinkedIn. I signed up for TikTok, but I'm not on there yet. So if you're like, why don't I follow you back? Because I haven't figured it out yet. But I'm at Tiffany Kellogg on all the social media. So it makes it easy to find. Put my name in Google, put my name in YouTube, and I will pop up.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So you are at Tiffany Kellogg. We'll bring that up again. So this is your website. This is your Facebook page. Now, this is a page. I joined your page and I did your 5-day challenge. Tell us about your 5-day challenge, Tiffany.
Yeah, so we have 5-day challenges. They go on every month or so. We're actually in the middle of one right now. And the goal is it's a 5-day referral challenge. So can we get more referrals in less than 15 minutes a day by just having a couple focused topics, a couple things that we can do. And one of the things that I find super easy to help us stay top of mind and get referrals is picking this smart device up and actually using it as a phone, dialing a number and calling somebody and just simply saying, hey, how's it going, Trish? And what can happen is people are like, oh my gosh, I was just thinking of you. I need to reorder or rebook you, or I've got a referral for you. There's all kinds of crazy things that can happen, even just picking up the phone. And if you just met somebody at a networking event, even if it was online, you can actually pick up the phone. Hey, Trish, it was so great to meet you at yesterday's event. I just wanted to say what a pleasure it was and see how you were doing. And that will stand out in a way because people don't do that.
It really will. It really will. And I did one of your challenges, and that's a great thing to do. And I know people like to text, and there are texts. Text is another level. What I don't like is receiving a text about someone saying they were thinking of me and caring about me, and they've said, dear group, or dear, dear. It's like, hey, buddy. It's like if it's gone out to a group, please don't do that, everybody. If you want to save time and send a nurturing message to your group, make it clear that it's a group message. It might be an update about an event. Hey, guys, just wanted to let you know this is coming up on Wednesday. But if it's about, I just want to check in and see how you are, because it's been COVID or what, if you're responsible for a group or you just really want to care about someone, care about them. Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier, like the LinkedIn message or the text messages. I think that if you can personalize it in some way, shape, or form, people will pay more attention, and it helps develop the relationship. I know I had somebody one time reach out to me on LinkedIn, like, I loved your profile. Not that other people haven't said that before. And I really want to know more about the socks. What are the socks all about? And so that lets me know that they actually looked at my profile. And you don't have to look very hard. It's like referral generator, professional speaker, software. So, I mean, it's not like it's a hidden thing or deep. Because a big part of my brand, it's about the socks. So when I speak in person, when I network in person, you'll see me with my cute little dress and some knee-high, our crew, bright, fun, colorful socks and Converse. It definitely stands out.
I love that. And that's part of your brand that makes you a bit different. And It is a test to whether to tell. I can always tell when someone has emailed me and they've not bothered to look at my website. Or they've not bothered, or they've messaged me and they haven't bothered looking at my website. And if I really want to connect with someone intentionally, I will go to their website. I will stalk them online.
Yeah.
And look, that is how I got a guest who was the program coordinator for South by Southwest conferences, because I looked at his body of work and I went, this guy's amazing. And I wrote back and I said, you're amazing. I love what you've been doing with such and such. I would love to have you on my show. Would you? And he's like, sure, I will, and now, there's the possibility of me ending up speaking on their platform because I was interested in them first.
Yes.
Talk to us about being interested in them first?
Yeah, so I think, one of the things that social media has done for us is made the world much smaller. And so if there is somebody in particular, whether you met them networking online or whether you're trying to build the relationship through online networking, social media, I would be you don't want to like overly stalk them. I wouldn't go through and like everything that they've done for the past 20 years on social media. Well, I guess it's not been that long, but however many years it's been. But I would make a point 2 or 3 or 4 times a week to comment on their posts that they put comments into the YouTube channels, YouTube videos that they're putting out, say things on their blog, share their content. And so what you can do is, again, you don't want to be overly zealous, so not every single thing they post all the time, but a couple of times a week, have those comments, and then you're able to develop relationships with somebody because they're seeing the interaction on social media. And so when you reach out to them and say, hey, can we get together for a coffee, or can we get together for Zoom? They're much more likely to say yes, because you've been interacting with them for the past couple of weeks. It's creating intention.
It really is. And that's how I've got work, is by building that friendship. And who says you can't combine Zoom and coffee? You can go for a Zoom coffee. That's what we're here for.
Well, it's not coffee. It's 8:30 at night where I'm at, so it's not coffee. But yeah, we can have our hot beverages via Zoom.
And that's exactly right. We can. And it's building that relationship. It's not about so to summarize, what you've been sharing with us, it is about building that relationship, not just sell. It's being intentional about, referring other people that, before you ask them to refer you, but then also picking up the phone and talking, seeing or wondering how you are. It's being real again. And, doing it online, there's an intimacy to online that I don't have 50 people walking past me right now, bumping into me with their drink and cake and whatever and bickies. And, it's you and me, and you're in my house. I'm in your room there. And we've got people watching us online, and we're in theirs, whether we can see them or not. And it's just a beautiful thing. So, people can, relax and jump in and enjoy it. Don't get too hung up about getting it right. Just be interested. Gosh, what a wealth of information you are, Tiffany. And I want to remind people before we finish up once again to visit find you on Facebook. And she's got Tiffany has a great website as well. And not only that, remember that she is at Tiffany Kellogg everywhere. At Tiffany, IE, and with 1G, at Tiffany Kellogg everywhere. Tiffany, it has been such a treat to have you on. It's just been a real pleasure. And if you're watching this, remember, go over it again and take notes about the tips that Tiffany has given you, because they're really valuable. And do her 5-day challenge. I've done it. It was a different time zone for me, so I was on part of it, and then I watched the recordings, and it was gold. It was really, really helpful to me, and it's contributing to growing my business as well. Speaking of which,
for those of you that are taking notes, I mentioned there's 3 things to say during the online networking event. The third one, because we didn't quite get to it, is testimonials, share success stories. So for those of you taking notes that were like 1, 2, and 3, success stories is number 3.
Tell us again. Number 1,
share your why.
Share your why. Number 2,
share the benefits.
Share the benefits.
And then this is or. You may not be able to get all, but pick one of the 3. And then the third, you can share success stories.
Fantastic. Share your why, share the benefits, success stories. Fabulous.
Thank you.
Dive deeper, connect with Tiffany, join her Facebook page, it's a free 5-day challenge, and you will be stoked and wrapped. And that's Australian for happy that you did. I'd see you next time. Where are we?